Okay.
I love me some copyright-free jams in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Or the 7:30 at night.
Hey, everybody! Welcome back to
15 seconds of fish.
Boring. 15 seconds of boring. Time to get back into talking about the production.
We are fans, our haters, and us all in one.
I'm our worst hater.
Next song we're going to be looking at is Hotel Heck, which is, I'd say that it's our tribute to classic rock.
And for me,
here we go.
It's a political commentary on the way a lot of hotels are run, but like don't really tell their people. Like the people as in the customer.
Like Gordon Ramsay's show Hotel Hell. No, it's not based. It's totally unaffiliated with Hotel Hell. I just thought Hotel Heck sounded cool.
I didn't specify it was with Hotel Hell.
Okay, but you've made me realize I should probably bring that up. It's unaffiliated, unrelated, not the theme of the song. But I thought it's
completely related.
No, it isn't.
And completely affiliated. Well, actually not affiliated, but completely related. Except it's censored. Because we don't say bad words on this channel.
We are a good Christian metal band.
Please don't say bad words in the comments.
No, my mom checks my phone and we'll get canceled.
Yeah.
By my mother, who is a scary lady. I'm 20 years old. Moving on.
I haven't seen my mom in... Okay, so
Hotel Heck starts off with a classic guitar riff. Classic-ish. I don't know. This was actually the first song that was metalish that I ever wrote, and then ended up turning into a 15 Seconds of Fish track. I wrote just this one riff in an empty project file that had nothing in it except for that one MIDI clip, and the reason I wrote it is because my cousin Adriana was over at my uncle's house. We were all staying, and she was going to demonstrate some fire poi, when like the ravers have those flaming balls on strings that they twirl around and there's like fire trails, and she was like, I need some music, and I was like, heck, I'll write you some music, and I wrote that riff, and then I gave up and went to dinner, and I never finished the riff, and she did the fire poi with no music, and it was awesome. Here's a picture of her doing the fire poi before I knew how to use my camera. Enjoy that. Moving on. What happened is we took that little riff, I turned that into a demo, which I ended up using in a video for school. We took the riff and I turned up the gain a little bit, got it a bit more distorted, and eventually that became Hotel Heck. That's what I'm trying to say, goofs and gaffs aside. Then we're doing the classic, old classic rock. Then we do the guitar, then the bass comes in, then we're throwing in a third layer, which in our case is sub bass, because we're 15 Seconds of Fish and we're bringing sub bass back to the metal scene. Non-subwoofer users need not apply. You probably won't hear a thing right now.
I heard literally nothing for the first few seconds and I was just like, he just silenced all the tracks.
No, that's the sidechain, because when the kick hits, always use sidechain. What sidechain compression, or in our case, sidechain noise gating does, is it tracks when a specific sound happens. You can mute that sound and just use it as a trigger, and when it detects that sound, it'll kill the sound on something else, or send a signal that you can use to kill the sound on another sound. So a classic use is when your kick drum hits, which is a very bassy instrument, you kill the bass on your sub or your bass guitar, and that way the frequencies don't clash and distort and make it sound ugly. We didn't do that because we were stuck in GarageBand. So what we actually did was we did the poor man's way, and we took our sub bass and we literally went and we copy and pasted ducking automation that we manually drew in for every single kick drum.
I did that.
You certainly did, and it took. How long did that take, Kim?
That took me like. I'm a powerful woman. I work fast. Got some speedy fingers.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm getting to.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jesus.
For me, 10 minutes. For you, a little longer.
Okay, well, moving on. This isn't a sidechain tutorial, so let's talk about the rest of the song. The main section is interesting because it introduces a riff and a drum pattern that we never go back to. It just sort of happens. I meant to put that as the chorus, or like
Scandalous.
the part. Very. I meant to put that as the part like after the chorus. I never made it that far. So we have this, and it's literally just there at the beginning, and it just exists for Kim's ASMR purposes, as you just heard. We have a breakdown. We have a very spooky sounding dramatic ride cymbal, which is playing a pattern with some delay on it. Kind of like that. And one thing that's a recurring theme in this song is we have these horns that swell. And we have some bit crushed horns which swell, which is a type of distortion where you lower the audio resolution of the audio so it sounds sort of 8-bit. And I guess that was my way of making the horns sound less organic, more electronic. Seeing as that we are a metal/electronic music group. For the next part, which is the first verse, we have some vocals from me and we have some heavily edited guitar noises from Kim. This is pretty much just some guitar static that I faded out so it goes ksh, 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 and there's a ton of effects on it, all doing a number of things.
Really hard on that. What do you mean? Okay, this is what the meaning behind it was.
Okay.
I hit guitar, I strum guitar go boom, 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 and then we make noise that make music.
No one's gonna believe that we produce our own music. No, we actually pay Brianna like $50 per song and she goes produces the whole thing for us.
Oh yes, she's the actual producer.
Yes.
We know nothing.
This is how I filled up space in the intro. If I mute this, you'll hear it's pretty empty. I turn the stabs back on, helps to fill it out a bit. Now that is, again, soaked in reverb. If I turn that off, you'll see it's quite aggressive. With the reverb, spaces out, gets very wide, becomes a wide boy. And that allows us to fill the entire spectrum, the stereo spectrum across your ears, because the reverb is in stereo. Moving on, we have the verse continuing, and one of my favorite parts of the song is the chorus. Now, the chorus for the beginning, the song gets more and more not acoustic, but more and more humanized and more live with live instruments as it goes on. More on that later. The first chorus is entirely synth guitar, I believe. Yes. And what thing we have going on here is some pitch bend, which is illustrated by these little dots here swooping up. You can see. Da, 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 da. That's what that's doing here. Again, that adds that human touch to the music. But it's a synth guitar, and it lacks the nuance of an actual guitar, which is a stylistic choice. With some velocity variation, we could have made it sound a bit more legit, but just how the cookie crumbles, how the fish fries. The chorus contains the lyrics of the song that identify the place as Hotel Heck. You can check in here, but you won't check out, so be afraid. I'm saying stay away from Hotel Heck now, which is a rhyme that I came up with very early on in the songwriting before I actually wrote the chords for the chorus, which is cool. That idea lasted throughout most of the production of the song. Now, this song isn't a very technical one, as you might be able to tell. There's some synth guitar, there's some drums, which are fun, funky, kind of complex in places, but overall pretty straightforward, decent amount of copy-paste. And going on, we start to introduce Kim. So over here, Kim begins to play a solo. Kim has that bending going on. And then I have Kim doing that. And again, that's run through one of my favorite plugins, Ozone Imager. This is a free plugin that causes your stereo sounds to become even wider, or even your mono sounds to become stereo. So what I've done here is I've caused, that's a very narrow sound. Let me just play that by itself. I've put the Ozone Imager on that, and now it's wide. Now it really spreads. So that helps it stand out against my vocals. It sort of puts it on a separate plane of existence sonically than my vocals, which is going to be part of a mixing tutorial that we will do in the future. I skipped a small section here. One thing we did is we did a vocal reverb lead-in over here. So here we have vocals that sound like they're being spoken through a telephone to another dimension or something of that. What's the word?
Variety.
Yes, thank you. Most of the frequencies are filtered out. It sounds very airy and hollow. Then we have this reverse reverb. So this is actually the first syllable of this line echoing or reverberating, and then that reverberation is played in reverse so that it leads into the first syllable of the dry vocal. This is a common technique in music. Sounds very ghostly in this situation, which is largely due to just how long I made that reverb tail. A lot of other songs might have that a lot shorter, but I really wanted it to swell, like coming out of the ether. Now on the second chorus, Kim's guitar comes in, and she starts playing alongside the synth guitar. And I love that guitar tone, might I add, Kim, that turned out really well. The guitar for this was actually recorded during a 7-hour recording hangout and virtual reality session that took place exactly in this room. And the virtual reality was not part of the music making, that was just us screwing around, and I died in Super Hot so many times. And also the death...
I got punched in the boob!
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. When you're wearing the headset, you can't see a thing. I totally forgot that I wasn't actually in the giant room like in Super Hot. And
I almost got hit in the face a few times. There was one where you're like...
Yeah, it was...
I was like, what?
I think we need to invest in a larger studio with a VR setup, first and foremost.
Invest in a larger studio, a bigger bedroom.
Honestly,
Buy me
yes.
a bigger bedroom.
I'm not doing it. We can all pitch in. I'll ask Brianna.
Oh my gosh.
Kim takes over the main duh. The synth guitar cuts out during that section, and that's all Kim. So this is synth, now Kim. One octave up for the synth guitar, and then back to Kim, and now I'm layering her with the synth guitar, so it just gets fatter and fatter as it goes on. Anyway, that was gross. I did not like touching that fish on the album art or the EP art. It was disgusting. I've never been extremely comfortable with the idea of touching fish, alive or dead, and I sort of overcame a fear and gained a few new ones that day.
So.
Yes, the bridge.
No, I was gonna say, you also ate the fish after.
I did. It was delicious. I believe it was a mackerel.
We didn't ask about that. Okay. Next! Play.
Okay. So this is Kim with a ton of delay, bunch of reverb.
It's me. I slap guitar. Guitar go boom, boom, boom.
Okay, Kim, can you come up with a new explanation of what you do in the band?
I'll say, okay. I strum guitar. And then guitar make me fancy noise. Guitar make me famous.
Sure.
Listen, I performed for the ex-Prime Minister of Canada for this treatment.
It's true, she actually did. It wasn't metal she played, but, you know, semantics. This part's fun, is what I've tried to say 5 times now before being interrupted, because there's a lot of, these are some bit crust strings, and then there's some more over here. Makes a nice little chord. And then there's some bass. Some bowed bass, to be specific. There's all kinds of fun noises like... I got really fun and spooky with it, as one does. The final section is where things go nuts.
We should make like an a cappella version of this where it's like...
We should. Final section of this song is the screaming section, which is always a lot of fun.
And you labeled it the C section.
I didn't realize that until now. That was an accident. Probably should have chosen a different name, but I didn't.
Next!
This part's kind of a conversation between the inner voice, which is the screaming, and the growly voice, which can be perceived as the demons. The lyrics don't fully support that theory, but that's what I went into it with. And also, all this guitar is Kim. There's some bass, there's some sub bass that's MIDI, but all this is Kim. It's a fat chug guitar there. Over here we have my favorite sound on the whole EP, which makes a reprise in the intro. I love that sound. It sounds kind of yoinky. I believe in the intro, the track name for that was called Kim Yoink. That is a layer, that guitar, of a MIDI guitar and Kim playing. And it took Kim only a couple tries to nail the chord progression for this. Very proud of her. Beautiful slide there, and like it sounds pretty messy, but I love that. I could have noise gated that, but it adds just so much to the chaos there, which is helped by the fact that there's another epic brass riser going on. Again, straight out of a trailer sample pack for those super cliche generic trailer noises from like action movie trailers. And it ends with like, and that barely squeaks through in the last part of the outro. So she slides down and the trailer goes, and the trailer riser does that. That's essentially Hotel Heck. You are now in Hotel Heck. Good luck leaving.
Goodbye!
If you have any questions for us, drop them in the comments below or reach us on Instagram at 15SOF_band. Be sure to DM us there with any questions and we'll be happy to make a follow-up video or just answer you through text. Thank you very much. We'll be back in the next video.